6 guys drafted top 12, Shefty. What's the biggest thing for Bo Nix entering year 2 in Denver?
Again, we're talking about all these quarterbacks adjusting to the second year. Booger's talking about the jump they make. And Bo Nix, a student of the game who already has married his thinking along the lines of Sean Payton, is expected to take that jump. They also have added to their offense. They also should be better there. And Bo Nix should take the next step in his evolution. A couple of people that are on that team, new to the organization, said to me this week, Bo Nix is better than they thought.
Yeah, well, Bo Nix is ready to pop. And what I want to do is I want to show you what Lewis had to say about the keys to avoid a sophomore slump. It was in the conversation with regards to Jane Daniels, but I want to kind of compare it to Bo Nix. So the reality is that this is, you could honestly say this about every single team. Like the keys for the Philadelphia Eagles to win the Super Bowl again. You need to have a healthy roster, impactful additions because you're going to lose some pieces and you need to add some pieces, and continuity of coaching staff. You know, there you go. And so it's going to be in practice for anyone. But the good news is, and listen, not all teams actually do this, but the good news is that the Denver Broncos did indeed do this. And I'm so excited to see this because, right, you have the ultimate continuity of coaching when it's your actual head coach, who's the actual offensive head coach. And I just think year one with Bo Nix and what he was able to do, to me, was so impressive. And not only did he do the things that people already thought that he was good at, but he did them great. But I feel as though he showed last season that he has more tools in the toolbox than maybe originally advertised. And I talked about this before about his mobility and whatnot. And I haven't reviewed this clip yet because I'm kind of dragging my feet, I'll be honest with you. It's the Herd clip, and it's just J-Mac. And he's talking, and it's like, I saw the title, it's like, is J.J. McCarthy Josh Allen 2.0? And I kind of like cringe at that idea because I'm just like, what? Like, what are you talking about? And when I see Bo Nix, I really do see Josh Allen. I'm not telling you that he's going to be as great as Josh Allen because I truly think that Josh Allen is just one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, if not the greatest talent of all time. I mean, I really do think that Josh Allen is out of his mind. But there are so many similarities to his game and the level of, but there's a difference though, because Josh Allen plays a little loose. And Josh Allen's like always kind of having fun out there, which I totally respect. I really, really do. But like, Bo Nix is about the business, man. Bo Nix is like, I feel like Josh Allen is the type of guy who, like, you know, if you're hanging out with him on like a off-season Sunday, like, you know, who want to, like, you know, let's just say have some fun. I'll just leave it at that. The dude probably just wants to have some fun, you know, and just let loose and let it rip and do his thing. And again, no judgments whatsoever. Marrying celebrities and all of that, hat tip, get after. Again, I got nothing but positive to say about Josh Allen. But it does feel like to me that Bo Nix is one of those players that is truly consumed by football. And it's funny because I'm reminded of a clip that I kind of even made fun of a little bit with Albert Breer. And I think it was before he was officially drafted by the Broncos. I forget exactly, but they were talking about how he showed up to like a meeting, you know, like an interview, and all he did was have like a lacrosse ball in his backpack or something. And they were just like, he's just all about football, this. And I kind of made fun of it because I'm just like, listen, I mean, like, what do you did you think he was going to have like a, you know, like magazines in there? It's like, what did you think was going to be in his bag and all that? And the lacrosse ball was to like crack his back. And I was just like, you know, this is one of those things that media or people that didn't really play sports a lot always act like it's like such this great big thing. And it's always like, you know, it's not as, you're making a bigger deal about something like this than need be. Like it's the off season, I get it, but like, you know, let's chill out a little bit. But definitely in hindsight and definitely watching this season, and it's kind of perfect because I think Jane Daniels is the same way, quite frankly. But although different levels of intensity and different levels, different brands of focus, I should say, I see Bo Nix as the person who's just like probably consumed about how last season went, and is probably the type of person that it's going over in his head again. He's probably having random flashes of like week 7, week 12, and he's kind of just like, oh, why did I make that pass? And it's like, and part of it is like, it doesn't matter. You learned that lesson. You learned that you shouldn't have made that pass, or you learned that you did whatever it was. Let it go. Like part of the growing up and maturing is like, you got to let it go. You learned the lesson. Once you learn the lesson, you let it go. You don't just hang on to it, and you move on to the next thing. And I'm convinced that Bo Nix, because I'm very similar in that regard, where it's just like, I could almost guarantee you. I feel like if I asked Bo Nix, I was like, are you ever laying in bed at night and you randomly get a jolt from a play in week 9? Yeah, and I bet you he would smile. I bet you he'd be like, yeah, I do. I can just guarantee it. And it's that hyper focus, that relentlessness, that you then now match that with Sean Payton and a management that is actually making moves to continue to put this roster in a great place. I mean, they really doubled down on defense, which I really absolutely love, quite frankly. And they have impactful additions offensively. I'm excited. I really am. I really think that when it's time for Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson to unfortunately slow down and just no longer be what they once were, like I feel like it's Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, and we'll have to see who the other quarterback is to the party, the other 2 quarterbacks who replace now, Joe Burrow and company. And it's like, but I feel like that's what we have right now. It's like we have our incredibly great, physically talented quarterbacks who are different stylistically, but are so focused, all about it, and I'm excited. I mean, it's like I'm so excited to see this new evolution of these quarterbacks and what they're going to be able to accomplish and achieve. And we still have some of these other bridge quarterbacks from like that, like because Jalen Hurts is going to be behind he's going to be behind the Mahomeses and the Josh Allens in terms of like where they're at just by age, but he's ahead of the Jaden Daniels and the Bo Nixes because of obviously he got more experience in them. So it's just gonna be interesting to see how all of this transitions, honestly. But the more I reflect on Bo Nix and the Broncos and what they're going to be looking to accomplish this season, the more I'm convinced that they're going to have a season that I really believe. Everyone kept talking about last season how they were thrown off guard a little bit, and they were kind of trying to play catch up to make sense of it. Now the reality is that most of the shows kind of just didn't really touch it, quite frankly. First things first, even the Herd to a degree, like they didn't really ever give them like true real chances of accomplishing much of anything. Now when you were watching the broadcast of the games, they were just kind of like, man, who could see this? Like you could see them kind of playing catch up with kind of who Bo Nix and the Broncos franchise, like where the direction of the franchise as a whole was going. And I feel like we are in a situation where we're setting ourselves up for a very similar situation, but like times 10. And the way it really becomes times 10 and the way how you really arrive, like it is by winning the division. It is by like actually convincingly beating the Kansas City Chiefs in week whatever. Beating the Baltimore Ravens, the Cincinnati Bengals, the Kansas City Chiefs, or the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs. There's going to be a great chance that you're going to play at least one of those 4 teams. And especially if you're good enough, if you don't play them in the wild card or, whatever it may be, and then you play them in the divisional. Like you're going to, it's hard to imagine that you're going to be able to keep winning in the playoffs and not play those teams. Like that would be wild. And you do that, it's just like, you are here. Think about even just Patrick Mahomes. Like people saw him as truly arriving just because he had such a great game against the New. Obviously, he had a great season, but it also culminated in essentially almost beating Tom Brady. Some people think that like they had that win, but of course, all the other stuff that went down. And it's just like that was like the true arrival. I don't think Bo Nix and this Broncos team has officially arrived yet in the eyes of the NFL world and especially the media. So I have such high hopes and high expectations for this team and a high belief in what I believe someone like Bo Nix will be able to do in year 2. And I just get excited at the idea of of another team, of another quarterback being able to solidify himself as like this is the new standard now. Like this is what we're looking to accomplish. And another true threat in the NFL and at least the AFC, and it not be just kind of like how you felt the Jags were when before, when Trevor Lawrence was when his stock was rising. It was like, all right, yeah, it's a pretty good team. They can win. They can cause some trouble. Or the Houston Texans, it's like, all right, CJ Stroud, he can let it rip. Like, can win some games. Not someone you want to face in the playoffs. But like when you have to face the Ravens, when you have to face the Bills, when you have to face the Chiefs, you're just like, oh boy, like this is, well, it's gonna happen, man. Like this is a game. Like, my gosh, like you better bring it. And it's just like if the Broncos can enter that category, I'm fascinated to see. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Denver Broncos? What do you think about the 3 keys for second-year quarterbacks to avoid the old sophomore slump? Do you think the Broncos are doing a good enough job to support that? And do you think Bo Nix is the type of quarterback that can take a big leap in year 2 of Sean Payton? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.